6:48 this Friday morning. Your top stories in our Smart Start heading into the weekend. We're learning a little bit more about what happened today. Macedon's ex-police chief is accused of driving drunk and crashing his patrol car off school grounds in Gananda. Fabian Rivera resigned that week after his arrest in November. According to court documents recently obtained by News 8, Macedon Police Sergeant Bridget Goodfriend and an officer in training, Nash Ritz, responded to the scene. The paperwork says Goodfriend recalls helping Rivera park his car in the parking lot of the middle school before going inside to review video of the accident, determining he was at fault. The documents go on to say the two took Rivera home. There he got into his personal car and tried to drive off again. Goodfriend explains calling the chief, telling him to stop what he was doing before running a field sobriety test. Rivera is accused of blowing a .279, more than 3 times the legal limit. Goodfriend is suspended with pay pending the investigation. Rivera was charged in both DWI cases. He pleaded not guilty to that. He is due back in court March 6th. Also new this morning, 2 men accused in a Christmas Day beating that left a victim hospitalized for weeks before his death face new charges. Bruce Wayne Beeman and Guy Musgrave II are now charged with murder after police say they beat Michael DeCesare for several minutes on Bay Street before robbing him. DeCesare passed away earlier this month from his injuries. The 2 suspects were initially charged with second-degree attempted murder, and that's what got upgraded. Today, it's the wake for a Rochester native and former state trooper Stephen Tyrell. New Yorkers near and far are pausing to remember him this week. As the governor announced, flags on state buildings are flying at half-staff in his honor. That will be for today and tomorrow as a tribute. Calling hours are this evening from 4 to 8 at Anthony's Funeral Home on Monroe Avenue in Rochester. The funeral is tomorrow. We'll have more coverage on the proceedings to come. Tyrell died due to an illness linked to his help in the search and recovery efforts at Ground Zero following the 9/11 attacks at the World Trade Center. A new story this morning, a community theater group recently earned status as a nonprofit, which changes a lot for them. Aron Spitzer met up with members to get more about the significance of that change and their upcoming shows this weekend. She's in studio now. Aron.
Yes, the Penfield Players have been around for nearly 60 years. The group is made up of actors, directors, and playwrights. Members are from around Monroe County, but some come from further away. The group's upcoming show is called Crusaders Amok. It's a comedy about the Fourth Crusade meant for adults. The shows are Saturday and Sunday at 2, and entry is free, though donations are appreciated. It's a radio play, so the actors will have scripts in hand. The Penfield Players became a nonprofit in January. President of the group, Elizabeth Gill, tells me this will help them accept donations.
So that we can support our future productions, because a nonprofit organization, we do still have costs.
Playwright and director of Crusaders Amok, Tristan Burley, says he's been doing community theater since he graduated from college a few years ago. He's both nervous and excited for audiences to see his play.
Just in general with community theater, it should always be about having fun first, as well as putting on a very good show. But it's with readers theater like this, I've just tried to keep it very common with all the actors and just trying to have fun and be silly more than anything else.
If you'd like to submit a play for consideration, Gill says you need a nearly completed piece. Again, they have their Readers Theater performance this weekend for free at the Penfield Community Center. Brennan, back to you.
Great way to donate, give back to help them. Thank you, Ron, for sharing that. If you want to make some plans for the weekend. Sunrise traffic here at 6:51. How about that view from our camera as, yeah, that snow band James has been tracking for all morning has moved a little west, picking up. It had been hovering around Webster and then going southeast. It's now shifted just a little bit. You can see we're getting that snow over downtown, so it's going to be a slow drive. There is a crash in Greece at Stone Road and Lakewood Drive with first responders on scene. And then out on the west side, just slowdowns coming in from 490 trying to get into downtown. And then that other issue we were watching all morning, the exit from the State Thruway in Victor headed out to, so you're going westbound out towards Eastview Mall. If you're about to hop on there, they had a car fire off on the side that was blocking one lane near the ramp. That has since been cleared as well. Again, the view this morning, lake effect snow we're dealing with. We'll check that again coming up momentarily. Avelo Airlines has announced the first nonstop service between Rochester and South Carolina. This launches May 9th. Those flights going to Greenville, Spartanburg, and back will run twice a week. Tickets start at just $60. That group of LO had recently announced one-way tickets to the Triangle there in North Carolina. The CDC is considering making some big changes to COVID federal guidelines, specifically dropping this 5-day rule for the isolation period. The CDC has not officially confirmed the change, but sources are telling the Washington Post in a story new this week, instead of waiting 5 days, people will soon be able to leave their homes without these warnings if they haven't had a fever for 24 hours without the help of medication to make them feel better. These rules would not apply to hospitals or other healthcare settings that have populations that are more vulnerable and at risk to COVID. Local nursing home leaders are calling on the governor to do more to close a major funding gap on Medicaid reimbursements. What's at stake, they say, includes quality of care and a staffing crisis only made worse. Upstate leaders are calling for $510 million in an investment as part of the new proposed budget. They say it's essential in addressing the more than $800 million funding gap in these reimbursement rates. Medicaid is the primary payer for nursing home care here in New York, but facilities haven't seen a change in an increase for what they get back in 15 years.
We're in a hurricane right now. We got nursing homes that are failing. You've got, for the first time, nonprofits, for-profits, and hospital-based nursing homes all banding together, asking for this $510 million to be put into the rate, to be put in nursing homes all across the state this year for this budget cycle. And it's a drop in the bucket.
News 8 did reach out to the governor's office on our reporting for a comment. We have not heard back. We'll see what makes it in the budget. That deal with lawmakers and the governor due April 1st. Changes to this year's FAFSA form are causing more stress than usual for families. Many of them are dealing with glitches in the financial aid process. That is leading to delays in the fill-out section and financial uncertainty. The chancellor of SUNY Schools says colleges are doing what they can to adjust just to try to make things a little easier and smoother.
We just recently asked all of our campuses to move back the deadline for families making the initial deposits and committing for the next year so that we have a little more time to help families understand what financial aid package they will get.
That deadline is now the 15th of May. More than 50% of SUNY students are able to go to school each year for free through aid they get from FAFSA. SUNY schools are trying to make it easier for students to access mental health care. The state for that announced this week is giving $10 million to 28 campuses, all used to help them hire and retain staff. Surveys do show 40% of college students experience depression and anxiety. The Rochester Red Wings have announced their promotional schedule for the upcoming season. Here's some of what is in store. Firework nights, there are 21 of those, 12 chances for the kids to get out and run the bases, 7 replica jersey giveaways spread out throughout the year. They also handing out the eclipse glasses on April 5th ahead of the total solar eclipse on the 8th. And then in June, Efren Ramirez, who played Pedro in Napoleon Dynamite, that actor stopping by Innovative Field. The home opener is April 2nd, and with that, the 50-degree guarantee as well. And we'll see what comes with that. Last year, I believe it was in March, where it was a little cool out there. Yeah. But we'll be thinking about warmer days being at the ballpark when you got weather like now and this band right over us.
Man, yeah, it's pretty nasty out there right now. A little burst, this lake effect snow moving through Rochester. You can see it there. That will continue over the next, I would say, 2 to 3 hours. It will eventually start to shift further east. Then you see that there. Those clouds probably holding on for most of the afternoon. It's a cold weekend, Brennan.
It is. Be safe out there as you're heading out. We're back in a few moments at 7:25 for more news and weather. CBS Mornings coming your way next.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.